But it revealed to me that a lot of my subscribers, or at least a lot of people, are interested in becoming extreme minimalists. I mean, if you're gonna do something, why half-ass it? Might as well be an extreme minimalist. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. Today's minimalism video is going to be 10 tips how to be an extreme minimalist. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo. If you wish to help out my channel, you can consider checking out my Patreon. I post monthly vlogs there and also milestones and updates for my Patreons. And if that's of no interest to you, then you can just help me out with the algorithm by giving this video a thumbs up, a like, and a subscribe. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, before we get started, I just kind of want to preface this video with saying that I'm not an extreme minimalist anymore. I had been for 2 years at the very beginning of my minimalism journey in year 1, year 2. I've been a minimalist for about 6 years and it was a fun part of my experience. And I've kind of realized with the video, like I got rid of everything. It was kind of like a spoof and a bit clickbaity, so I'm so sorry guys that if you guys noticed, I didn't really get rid of that many things. But it revealed to me that a lot of my subscribers, or at least a lot of people, are interested in becoming extreme minimalists. I mean, if you're gonna do something, why half-ass it? Might as well be an extreme minimalist. Okay, so tip number 1, less furniture. This one, of course, with everything, really depends on one situation. You really can get rid of most of your furniture. I have seen that most extreme minimalists, and even myself, when I was an extreme minimalist, I didn't care for furniture. And that's actually one of the habits that I've actually kept with me. I don't really have much furniture. If you guys have seen my empty apartment tour, the only furniture that I own that is mine would probably be this IKEA vanity that I bought when I was first year university and I left behind at my mom's house, and now I have it again. I have experimented with like sitting on the floor and using like small Japanese tables or like writing on the floor in my extreme minimalism practices, but unfortunately I started getting like kidney problems from having all that pressure on my back. So I've kind of, for health reasons, upgraded to a desk, and that's fine with me. That was part of my journey. So what I can recommend is you could try having less furniture. The second thing is having a capsule wardrobe or having a uniform. So these are 2 different things, and I will briefly talk about each one. So a capsule is kind of having about like 30 items, and those are the items that kind of pair well-ish with one another, and you can like intermix them and like they all look good together. So that would be like a capsule. A uniform is a bit more extreme, and that would be kind of like what Matt D'Avella is also really popular for this. He just wore like a dark shirt, not the same dark shirt, a dark shirt in several of them. And I guess, I don't know how many he had, but my understanding of a uniform, or at least how I did a uniform, I only had about like 7 or 8 pieces of the same black shirt. And on laundry day, I just washed them and just repeat over and over again. My dorm room closet didn't have enough space for a capsule, so that's why I never really had much of a capsule. I've kind of been more in the realm of a uniform, but recently I have accumulated a little bit more clothes, so I think now I'm probably more of a capsule. But with my capsule, I still do keep to the same family in the same colorway, which I will touch upon in point 4. Point number 3 is no duplicates. This is a rule that I don't personally subscribe to, but I know that is quite religious in the extreme minimalism world, and that's not having duplicates. What you want to have duplicates for and don't want to have duplicates for, I mean, honest to God, just use common sense. But if you really want to go down that rabbit hole and just really fully enjoy the benefits of extreme minimalism, try not having duplicates. So that means you can really only have 1 bag, only 1 pair of shoes, 1 jacket, 1 hat. I know that I sound like I'm like, I don't think very highly of extreme minimalism. Extreme minimalism is wonderful. It didn't end up suiting me, but if you do manage to get down to an extreme level of minimalism, it's very comfortable there. I'd have to say there's a lot of ease there. Like not having duplicates, you no longer have this decision fatigue. You're not wondering like, do I wear this? Do I wear that? Do I pick this? Do I pick that? Like which one do I use? Which do I not use? And then having that much more things to clean. Like if you have multiple knives, multiple cutlery, you have to clean all of those. So again, take it as you will, but if you want to try no duplicates in as many areas as you can and see how you feel. And honest to God, if it doesn't really work out, you can always repurchase it or bring it back. Or you could try the rule of like, I guess the trial box is I think what it's called. You have like a box, you put your stuff away in and you put it in a storage room or something, or in your basement or out of sight, and you see how long you can live without it. And if you need something, you go and you get it and you bring it back. Okay, number 4. So this is the point that I want to talk about, the colorway. So keeping clothes all the same color or within the same color family. So this could be like if you have all black clothes, just have all black clothes, or black and white, which is monochrome. That's monochrome. That's not exactly a color family. So a color family would be like having all shades of brown, beiges, browns, and creams. That's a color family. Or all whites and creams. That's another family. Or all grays, all shades of gray. I tried all pink. I don't recommend it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just taking these principles and running with it. So and realizing some errors along the way, which was like, did I really want all pink? I remember I had like an all pink jacket, an all pink bag. I mean, I guess I was going for like that Barbie vibe, you know, hime gyaru Japanese style, and that was just part of my journey. So you guys can definitely try certain types of aesthetics. Oh, and the other thing that I want to say is that there's really no correct color way that you should have. Don't let the internet or the minimalism community tell you otherwise. A really famous minimalist is the Afro minimalist. She wears like a lot of red, so, and that's not a very, and I put these in hyphens, stereotypical minimalism colorway. It really doesn't matter. Minimalism is different for everybody. It's about getting rid of what doesn't serve you and implementing more of what does. So if all blue is you, do you, boo. Okay, number 5. This is more of a feminine thing, although honestly, nowadays men wear makeup too, so honestly this applies to everybody, but making your makeup fit in a pouch or not having any at all. So this is a very controversial topic in my opinion. You know, makeup and minimalism is very, how to put it, there's a lot of strong opinions about this. Some people are like, as a minimalist you shouldn't be wearing makeup. Some people are like, as a minimalist you should have the right to wear makeup, or you're a minimalist, why do you wear makeup? You know, that amount of makeup is not minimalist. Or I've even heard,
I don't like how most minimalists are females. All their videos are about decluttering their makeup and their sanitary products.
Well, geez, I'm sorry. Go start a YouTube channel and tell us about what's in your everyday carry. All right. I'm quite passionate about this topic because if you guys know, I have a deep love for makeup. Makeup is one of the exceptions to my minimalism. I have more makeup than I would consider, I think, for other minimalists to consider. Like, that's not in a minimal amount, but makeup is something that brings me joy. I've decluttered it multiple times throughout my journey. I did a 2-year makeup nowhere and I brought it back. Like, I like makeup and I made my peace with that. After 6 years, like, I'm not gonna fight it and I owe no one any explanations. But anyway, coming back to my point. So again, responsibly declutter your makeup. Try your best to first project pan it. Don't just throw it in the garbage or pass it on to loved ones. Try to make it fit in a pouch, or if you just don't want to deal with it altogether, just get rid of it. Donate it. Give it to friends. Women's shelter. Forget about it. You're beautiful with and without it. All right, number 6, cluttering storage items. This is actually one of the tips that I actually picked up from Marie Kondo, and I know a lot of people usually, this is also controversial. Marie Kondo is actually technically herself. She doesn't consider herself a minimalist, but that doesn't mean that I don't treasure her book. I only own 2 books and I still have her 1 book, which actually I'll show you guys. So as an extreme minimalist, or used to be, I actually only own 2 books, and Marie Kondo's book is actually still one of them. So I know that although she, as much as I love her, she isn't, you know, she claims to not be a minimalist, I still do follow a lot of the principles in the book and they're really useful. And one of them was that you should get rid of storage items, or at least you shouldn't have as many. Like if you have, the way she phrased it was that like trying to solve a clutter issue by organizing and buying more organizational items is actually like not the solution. The solution is actually to declutter, hence the does it spark joy question, and getting rid of it and having less, and that's the way to go. So in that sense, yes, decluttering and storage items, like they kind of go hand in hand. But anyway, coming back to the idea of extreme minimalism, if you want to be a bit more extreme in your minimalism practice, you can get rid of your storage boxes. That is kind of also a Fumio Sasaki tip. It's called like attack the nest, get rid before the pest. So if you have a bunch of stuff, they look fine in their storage items, but if you get rid of the storage items, now they're just spewed everywhere. Now you are forced to address the issue of your clutter because now you can't store them. You have to either, you know, declutter it or minimize it. So just another tip. Okay, number 7, making it all fit into a luggage. This one is kind of more for people who are kind of aspiring for a digital nomad type of life. I don't really see the function in having everything fit in a luggage if you don't really move, but it's a good metric. It's a good little some idea to have at the back of your head that all my stuff is in a luggage, that if I need to go, I can go. I have lived a very digital nomad life for, I guess, more than like half a decade, for the past 6 years, even more than that. I have never lived in a place stationary for a very long period of time, traveling between Canada, Taiwan, China. I don't know, that's just how my life turned out. So for me, making everything fit in a luggage just made sense for my lifestyle. But if you feel like you just kind of want to enjoy that like hardcore minimalism aesthetic and you want it all to fit in a luggage, you could try that. You can take 2 or 3 empty luggages. Mine fits about like in 2 luggages and a half, and try to see if everything fits in there. All your clothes, all your books, all your cups, all your stationery, like everything needs to fit in there. Like you are getting on a plane and you're leaving everything, like you're leaving nothing behind. It's a fun experiment. See how it goes. Like during COVID in 2020, I got stuck in Taiwan. I literally only brought with me a carry-on. So I was living out of a carry-on, for God's sake, for almost 11 months, like almost an entire year. Was it a fun experience? Yes and no. Trying to constantly make your stuff fit in a carry-on for a year was kind of limiting. I couldn't buy something and then I had to declutter stuff, and it just, money-wise, it just didn't feel very efficient. But again, if you want to try it, go for it, see if it fits. Okay, number 8, finding multifunctional items, bags, and clothes. I want to disclaimer this one. This one was something that was really impossible and difficult for me. I remember I had like a bag and I needed that bag to be everything, and it was my transformer of a bag. My old G subscribers will know what the hell I'm talking about. I decluttered all of my luxury purses, threw them in the trash. I'm so embarrassed to admit this. I really should have donated them, but in my obsession, in my hurry, in my haste to become an extreme minimalist, I wanted everything to be multifunctional. So please be slow with this one. If it isn't multifunctional, that's all right. But if you want to be an extreme minimalist, try to make everything you have as multifunctional as you can. So I'll tell you tips that I have heard on the internet: making your indoor clothes, also your pajamas. Going out to parties is also your work attire. Your casual clothes are also your work clothes, or purses or bags that serve all functions. So it's like a bag for going out is also your hiking bag, and cup can also be a pencil case. Like, it's just figuring out things that could have multifunction. Okay, number 9, rejecting hyperconsumption. So to be an extreme minimalist, you're gonna have to own a small amount of stuff, and unless you want to be on the hamster wheel of declutter buy, which is a sickening cycle, I really don't recommend it for anybody. You're gonna have to cut the umbilical cord of new things coming in, and that is quitting hyperconsumption. And quitting hyperconsumption for me was my mind was just completely messed up when I quit hyperconsumption. I was like, what do I do with my time? Like, what do I do with myself? Like, what is my identity? Like, I was so deep in consumerism that I just didn't know what to do with myself. My sole purpose in life was just to work, to buy stuff. Like, that's just my raison d'etre. So maybe it won't be so bad for other people, but yeah, I had to, learn to go out into nature, learn to read more books, become more creative. I started a YouTube channel, started working on my health. Like, it brought in new things that I could do with my time in my life that didn't involve going to the mall, because your girl loved to shop. Like, I definitely was a shopaholic. I could spend forever at the mall. I'll be honest, I still can spend forever at the mall. I don't buy anything and I can window shop. I don't know, maybe it's the Libra in me. I love pretty things. But anyway, yeah, you're gonna have to reject hyperconsumption at one point or another, because otherwise it's gonna be a really difficult journey. Although maybe you'll figure out a way to be an extreme minimalist and enjoy hyperconsumption. I don't know. I'm not saying you can't consume things. You should be an intentional shopper, definitely. It's the idea of hyperconsumption, an excess of consumption that leads to clutter and hoarding. Okay, number 10, you can consider becoming a digital nomad. I don't think that you have to be a digital nomad if you become an extreme minimalist, but I have seen that a lot of extreme minimalists kind of became digital nomads, because think about it. You've gotten to the point now where everything fits in a luggage, and you have a lot of extra cash now because you haven't spent it on more clutter in your home. And you don't have a lot of furniture, so you could like pack up and leave whenever you wanted. That sense that you're no longer tied down by your couch and your TV and your multiple duvets and storage full of junk, then you don't have any of that anymore. If you wanted to up and go, you could. And the digital sense, a thing that I've also kind of noticed, and I don't know if this is the case for many people, but for myself, I love technology. It's partly because I grew up my childhood surrounded by a lot of my friends' parents. They were engineers. My father's an engineer. And I guess in some ways I was like part of the 90s babies who grew up with the Matrix. So I love the idea of the internet and living in the internet. So for me, this marriage worked very well. Having very little in the real world allowed me to have an abundant life in the digital realm. So if your life is digital, you can go anywhere you want. You just log into a computer. As long as you have internet access, you can continue your life anywhere, and you don't need to carry your couch with you or all of your wardrobe full of clothes. Like, you just have your luggage, you pack it and you go. We have a lot of things that didn't exist like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I mean, like, we have Airbnb, we have Uber, we have a lot of places where you can go. You don't necessarily have to stay in a hotel. You can do homestays. Like, the world is our oyster. The world, as Marshall McLuhan said, is just kind of becoming a global village. There's internet in a lot of places, even places you'd be like, this is pretty rural, but you guys have internet? Like, there's no running water, but I can check my emails. So yeah, if you want to consider becoming or having an element of extreme minimalism in your life, you could consider becoming a digital nomad. See if you can, live your life on the internet while being free to travel the world. Okay, so this video is kind of long, but these are 10 tips. I hope that this can help out anybody get some more inspiration on their extreme minimalism journey. I think it's a beautiful journey. Like, I'll be honest with you, I think it is. Becoming an extreme minimalist for me was a very freeing thing, and I don't think I would be who I am today if I hadn't become an extreme minimalist. Now I'm just a regular old run-of-the-mill minimalist. There's nothing special about me anymore. So if you feel you need that badge of honor that says like, I'm an extreme minimalism, I don't have a couch, then definitely try some of these tips, have fun with it, go crazy, and just remember at the end of the day that it's about bettering your life. If some of these things are making your life impossible, please, for the love of God, just bring it back into your life. You can still be an extreme minimalist while incorporating some of these details. If you think yourself an extreme minimalist, use an extreme minimalist. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!